Hello, literature lovers. Today, as you can see, I'm discussing Emily Dickinson. She was considered one of the greatest American poets and born in December 1830, America, Massachusetts. She belonged to a prominent family, and she studied in Amherst Academy. She is one of the female poets, and you can understand at that time how female poets were treated, talking about her life as she was born. And her father was a lawyer. That is the reason why she got quite advantages. And sometimes she was very good at piano, and she was quite emotional, and her teenagers was also filled with some references, and she was interested in literature. And we can see how her life was having a religious beliefs are very common. There are different trends, and she was also influenced by different other poets and writers in her life. And these are some of the quotes of Emily Dickinson, and we can understand how she studied and she talked about it in her life, discussing her in detail. She has a peculiar quality in her poetry, and which can be discussed here. Many of her poems were published posthumously, so you can understand how her genre was being discussed. So her works can be divided into few categories, starting with pre-1861, and in that period she was often conventional and sentimental in nature. Now talking about the second period of her works, that is from 1861 to 1865, and we can see that this time is more creative period, and she published, in fact composed 86 poems, and her work was recognized. Next comes the post 1866 period, and that is estimated to be two-thirds of the entire body of her works. And in that period, we can understand the structure and uses of dashes and some conventional style, and is being discussed how her verses and the rhymes she used were quite perfect at that time. And many critics regarded her work as great order, and there are sometimes original wordings in that Republican version of her works, and her choice of category and how she secluded different themes. Talking about the themes that she used, starting with flowers and gardens in her earlier works, and then how she mastered poetry and how she used the conventional poetry work in the second stage of her life. Next comes the morbidity in her poetry and with the gospel poems which religious aspects in it. Talking about the reception, her works was really received with great admiration, and different literary critics mentioned, taking Morris Thompson, a literary critic, called her work a strange mixture of rare individuality and originality. Many critics have different opinion about how her work was being discussed, and in 1930s, in fact, a number of new critics appraised the significance of Dickinson's poetry, and we can see how her work is being told. She was in fact part of the second wave of feminism too, in a way. Thank you.